o'clock. Great. Before we begin with adoption, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are on the homeland of the many diverse First Nations and Métis people whose ancestors have walked this land since time immemorial. We are grateful to work, live, and learn on the traditional territory of Treaty 8. All right, with the adoption of the agenda, I have one added item. I think everyone has it in front of them. It is the spring multi-sport registration, and that's 8.3. Anyone here see anything else?
So I'd like to know, was this agenda reviewed for clarification and errors?
There are numerous items included in the agenda that the legislative clerk will be noting that need to be corrected.
Okay.
Anyone else? Additions?
Sorry, I couldn't hear somebody outside of the conversation. I heard something voted tie.
Oh, no, that was outside. But anything to the agenda, or adoption of the agenda, anything to add?
Oh, okay. Nothing to add, no?
Did you hear that we had 8.3?
Yes. Yes, I did.
With that addition, then, anyone who wants to move to adopt the agenda? Okay, thank you, Councillor Wakel.
Move as amended.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay. Mayor, was that a yes? I see that we don't have any scheduled delegations, but we certainly do have public delegations. So at this time, I will invite public delegation to please step forward. Boyd, could I get you to just hold off for 1 minute? We're just getting the mayor back on. Thank you so much.
It's the plan. We're not there yet. Yeah. It's fingers checked now, so it's
I'm getting my first one in 2 weeks.
young fellas gonna take over.
So he's in training, I take it.
Actually, we were doing a 5-year rule.
Sounds like you're looking forward to that.
He's good.
Is that the boss you see?
She's looking for it. She's looking for a day with.
Oh, yeah.
It's been
To the podium, Boyd, if I could just get you to identify yourself and the reason for your visit to us today.
I just have a couple of 3 questions. Boyd Gibb. I own the High Prairie Liquor Store down the street. I was here at the last meeting, I think, and I just, from that meeting, have some questions. I tried to find, it's to do with that recall petition that's going on. I've only found one place where there was one, and there's no, I was just wondering, does anyone have a written list of grievances? If you're gonna recall a councillor or a mayor, is there a list of grievances to what each councillor or mayor has done or not done? Just, I have never seen a written list anywhere at any time. Has council ever been presented with a list?
My advice to council is, given that this is purely under the domain of provincial legislation, and I have a legal opinion that it should not be discussed at a council meeting.
Okay,
But
that's fine.
you can refer your questions to municipal affairs. If you go on our website, the number is there. But to date, to my knowledge, there's been no indication of the basis of the recall.
Okay, so they have a recall, but they don't have any basis.
Right. I can state, because it's nothing to do with the recall at the municipal level, there are parallel regulations dealing with MLAs, and that legislation does require the recall petition for MLAs to specifically detail the basis of the complaints.
But for town councilors, mayors,
I
there's
would
no.
ask you to refer
Oh, okay.
refer your
That's
questions to
all right.
municipal affairs.
My other question is, if we recall 3 people out of council, then there's a by-election. So what kind of costs does the town incur with a by-election?
Well, perhaps I can speak to that through the chair. Regardless of the recall, any by-election would have costs associated, and those costs would be in the $10,000 range,
Okay,
excluding staff time.
so man hours plus $10,000.
Of
Okay, so
Direct
we're
cost.
setting aside man hours of administration to operate another by-election. And then this is just my opinion now, if we continue with a recall, then there's no point in, there's nothing saying that there's not gonna be another recall and another recall. And so we'll just have a council and administration running under the threat of recall continually. And that doesn't sound very efficient. It sounds pretty costly. Like we're opening a door that might be tough to close. That's it. And that's all. So we don't, so about $10,000 an election.
Regardless if it's a by-election would be, because the by-election is really no different than holding a full election, given
Right,
that
right.
the town basis is not by ward, it's by the whole municipality. So whether it's voting for a individual or multiple individuals, the cost really doesn't change significantly. Whether, we print 500 ballots or print 1,500 ballots, that's minor
Worst case
cost.
scenario, though, we could be spending $10,000 every 90 to 120 days.
If we had a by-election every so often, yes, that would be.
There wouldn't really be a reason for it not to do that, would there?
Again, I'm not speaking
Yeah, I'm not
directly to the
saying-
recall
yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
But in terms of a general bylaw, yes, it's 10,000 plus staff time for each.
Okay. So if I go to municipal affairs, they'll have some kind of an answer?
They'll give you some kind of answer, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Boyd.
Thanks, Boyd.
Okay. Sean, do you want to come up next?
My name's Shauna Rich.
Thank you. My name is Shauna Rich, and I'm here on behalf of High Prairie District Minor Baseball. I'm the president of the association. I did submit a couple of letters to Ramona, and I believe the CAO was able to review them. Just to, I guess, to begin with,
Oh, okay.
what's that? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I can't be up here.
Okay, that's okay. Thanks. So I'd personally first just like to start with, we've requested in one of the letters to have the town of High Prairie allow us to put a sea can at the ball diamonds. We're lacking storage, so what we find is happening is during the season, our coaches have to take the equipment home. That causes numerous problems. If the coaches don't show up, we have children at practice without equipment, and that has happened on occasion. We also, the equipment tends to go missing. We don't always get it all back from the coaches, so I'd like to just have a central area where it's kept. We used to keep it at the Sports Palace upstairs, but found there was a bit of a mice issue, so we had a few things that were destroyed. We would want to purchase the sea can at our own cost, and then we plan to paint it and have our town or our team logo on there as well. So that would be at our cost, and we'd look to have some sort of security anyway, whether it be cameras or something to hopefully protect it from theft. I know that's probably almost impossible, but in the area. So it's two parts to that. We'd like to start with the CCAN. We have also received a generous donation from the Buchanan Family Foundation. We were hoping to use that to apply for what's called a Blue Jays Care Foundation grant, which allows you to upgrade 1 to 2 of your diamonds. We weren't approved this year for it. You have to have some of your own funding, so that's why we were happy to get that grant. However, we'd like to use some of that to put towards improvements at the ballpark, and we'd like to start with dugouts. The current structures are wooden with a concrete base. We find they're just sort of in disrepair. They haven't been replaced in a very long time. We'd like to go with a cinder block or concrete, something that's a permanent structure with a storage unit and a steel door. We feel that'll be a lot more permanent for our storage concerns. So price we have for, again, the 2 dugouts that we'd like to replace would be on Diamond 1, and that would be at our cost this year. And then hopefully, our goal is to replace 2 each year, just depending on our fundraising abilities. So. And the Blue Jays Care grant, if we'll keep applying until, so that is, I guess, my question for council, and that's our stance on it, so. Questions?
So this is 8.1 and 8.2 in our agenda, and Shauna, it is actually coming up for council's discussion later in the agenda.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you for being here.
Sure, thank you.
Shauna, you did write a very good letter, and you have all the information there. It was a good job.
Thank you. Yeah, it was done fairly quickly, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Moving on then to the fire chief's report. That's true. Chris, I'm sorry, did you, is there anyone else that?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'll
Who would
grab
like
that.
to move?
That council receives the fire chief's February 2024 report for information.
Good evening, council. Just a couple, I've submitted my report. There's a couple things I just want to highlight on. On April 6th, we are having our annual awards evening for recognition of firefighters and the efforts that they put to serving the community. It's at the Legion Hall, and I attended county council meeting a couple weeks ago and requested that the county have a representative at our awards. I am doing the same thing tonight, requesting that at least one of the council members attend to basically hand out the awards. So basically you'll be asked to participate by handing awards out, having a great meal by Alice, and also giving a short message to the firefighters. If somebody could let me know, I guess within the next few days, who is able to attend on the town and council's behalf, that'd be appreciated. All of our members are paying $20 per ticket, but the dignitaries are going to be funded by the society. So just that request. We have been the recipient of a fire training grant, as I indicated under 7943. That is going to be used for a wildland urban interface course. I actually had members scheduled for a WUI course here a couple weeks from now, but after I got notification of the grant, switched it around. The only availability for instructors for that course was in August, so it's not at the peak time, but at least we're getting training for the wildland urban interface training. So it is scheduled, confirmed today that we've got that training set up. Last one, I guess, that I'll highlight is I organized a fire prevention presentation for the schools in fall for Fire Prevention Week. It is being split 3 ways. Each school is taking up $500 cost, and I am taking $500 out of the budget. And I just figured I'll throw it at you. Would you guys consider supporting this endeavor? And basically what it is a fire safety prevention presentation for elementary age kids in a fun sort of manner. The lady that comes, she does kind of a skit, singing and acting kind of thing. So that's set up for town students. County has jumped on board as well, and with the same person, Lucy is going to be using them out in a couple of county schools as well. So we're kind of coordinating and getting some best bang for the buck kind of thing. So that's my report to council. If you have any questions.
Councillor Wakel.
Could I jump in? And there's one item I'd like the fire chief to also include in this report, which is an outstanding request of council dealing with Fire Smart, and your progress on that, please.
Okay. So I did look into the Fire Smart program, and the Fire Smart program, the way that it works is there's two components to it. There's an evaluation stage, and then there's an action stage. So if you haven't had anything done in your community, you need to go through an evaluation stage. So what happens is there's two grant processes. The first grant process is to set up a person that will come in and evaluate the risks of the community. That grant covers those expenses, and then once that report comes in, then you can actually action the recommendations that come forth from the Fire Smart assessment. So it's a kind of a two-phase thing. I did reach out to the Fire Smart personnel, and the grant is not open until sometimes May and June, and I asked to be added onto the list to be notified immediately when the next phase of grant applications are going to be accepted. So I'm basically in the queue to be notified. When that notification comes in, then you can start the application process. I did look on, it's the FRIA website, and there is actually no access to the form itself until they actually open it up again. So that's the information about Fire Smart.
Back to you, Councillor Wakel.
Bless you.
Thank you. The burning on the tracks and that, have you been in contact with CN? Because I know you'd like to do it, not too long after the snow melts, and at this rate it'll be tomorrow. So I'm just wondering about that.
The contact person for in town here is Josh Willier. I haven't touched base with him yet, but he is on my radar when we start looking at those events. And my understanding is it is supposed to be seamless, but I will wait and see until that happens.
And then maybe through the chair to administration, he's asked for the donation. Is that for this fall that you want that?
Yeah, that's October.
Oh, okay, so we can deal with that on
Fire prevention.
We can have an RFD come forward for that, right? And we'll deal with that then. Okay.
I guess I would just ask the chief whether it could be accommodated within your normal operating budget.
Yeah.
If it could, then there would be no reason not to.
Okay.
Assume the chief's not doing it.
Yeah. So what the agreement that I made with the schools is 500 for the elementary school, 500 for St. Andrews, and 500 for my budget.
Any questions for the chief?
I can do it.
Councillor Janaka.
Your awards night on Saturday, do you have a time?
Cocktails are 6 o'clock, supper is at 7 o'clock, and awards will proceed after supper.
Okay.
And we have a live band. Well, live, sort of, I guess.
Any other questions for the fire chief? Okay, seeing none. None from the mayor. Did you hear about the awards night on April 6th?
I did hear that, and I could attend. Yeah.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
So we had a motion to accept the fire chief's report. All in favor? Great. It is carried. Okay, so this is the point of the minutes, and I understand that administration and Bailey have, our legislative clerk have some amends.
Yes. Okay, we'll start with September 7th. The only amendment to September 7th is the wording of the closed session. I changed it to say council move into closed session to discuss section 24, advice from officials, FOIP. I just added additional words to the minutes. That's all that's added for September 7th. Just more a description. And
So, sorry, Bailey, just to clarify, was that under number 3 then?
yes,
And was there a FOIP section?
24. It'll be in the updated minutes. It's just we went back in and I did those for each set of minutes, just a more of a description saying going into closed council, da 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 da, and then
Perhaps, could I suggest through the chair, if there's no other amendments to September 7th, then we'll deal with each of the ones as they come up. So if there are any other amendments?
Questions to this, Councillor Stenhouse?
So number 2, it says council adopt the September 7th, 2024 special meeting of agenda. September 2024 is not for another 6 months.
It's September 2023. Number 2.
So that has been noted, so
Mayor, is there anything else from your end for September 2nd?
Where's the 7th?
September 7th of last year, correct?
Oh, right, okay. No, it did, I heard that they were gonna add what we're going into closed session for,
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
it was
and
for-
that and that the date be changed on number 2?
correct.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
Was there anything else, Councillor Stenhouse, before we proceed, or were you done? Was that the only note? Okay, I have a question. To our legislative clerk, was this meeting in person here at council chambers?
I wasn't here.
Oh,
I'm
right.
not sure.
I don't know what was noted.
yes, it was.
Can I ask her a question?
No.
How do you go back 6 months? Why do you need to?
Actually, that was my question, so maybe I'll ask that question. My question was, why is this coming to the table now?
It wasn't adopted by council. It was an in-camera meeting, so there's no motions. So there was an oversight on behalf of administration. So I'm correcting that oversight.
6 months later.
Whether it's 6 months or a year, it's being corrected.
Okay.
So are we actually talking about this meeting right now, or are we just correcting mistakes?
We are looking to pass the, I'll need a motion to adopt the minutes of this agenda.
Okay, so somebody's gonna make a motion here?
I'll move that we adopt the minutes from the September 7th, 2023 special meeting of council as amended.
Okay, now I have questions.
Councillor Stenhouse.
So I cannot recall this meeting. I went through our meeting agendas on the website, and there's July 11th, September 12th. I went through our meeting agendas on the website. There's July 11th, August 8th. No, there was no in-camera meeting. We were adjourned at 7:35, and there was one at September 12th. I have the question too, why is this showing up now? And I have no recollection of this meeting.
Through the chair, the minutes and agenda are posted on our website.
Yeah, my only question was whether it was in council chambers, because I looked at my calendar and I had I just want to know if it was Zoom, because I have a Zoom link in there.
If the councillor wishes, if Councillor Stenhouse's wishes and doesn't recall the meeting, there was an expense claim submitted by yourself for that meeting.
So did everyone else in this room submit an expense account?
That's confidential information, and if the members wish to disclose, they can disclose.
Anyone else want to disclose?
I would assume that I did. I have no problem with disclosing that. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm also notorious for putting meetings on my expense claim as well. So
again, through the chair, the item before council is the adoption of the minutes. Some of the questions are not related to the minutes, so I just bring that to council's attention.
Thank you, Bill. So Mayor, nothing else from your end, and you recall this meeting being in person at the chambers? I just thought it was Zoom, that's all.
On September 7th?
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall, no.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to adopt the minutes of last September 7th meeting of council.
Could I get a recorded vote, please?
Yeah.
Okay, there has been a recorded vote. Sorry, Mayor, were you going to say something?
Well, no, I do know I have in my thing that we had the meeting on September 7th.
Do you have it via Zoom by any chance?
Do I have what?
Via Zoom versus in council chambers? Just vote.
No, I do not have that. I don't have a Zoom link, so I suspect that if it wasn't by Zoom would be my suspicion, yeah.
Okay,
If council wishes, I can, in camera, provide the notes and annotation on the agenda that I was the recording secretary for that meeting, but that has to be dealt with in camera since it was an in-camera meeting.
any further questions on this, on these minutes? Okay, seeing none, we've got a recorded vote requested. Bailey, you ready to, okay. Well, I will move the question then, all in favor? Mayor, was that a hand up?
I'm sorry, I could not hear the motion for sure.
The motion is to adopt the minutes of September 7th, 2023's agenda, recorded vote, and the question was called. Are you in favor?
Okay, but there, and that's with the changes?
With the amendments, correct.
With the amendments, okay, yes, I'm in favor.
Opposed? Okay, that motion is carried. Okay, a motion please for the next set of minutes from February 27th.
Could I, through the chair, suggest that Bailey provide the updates further reflected as amendments? Because if a motion's made at this point, it will not reflect the amendments.
So amendments first then? For the
Well,
February 27th?
at least the corrections that
Okay.
Bailey wishes to make, and then if members have further amendments to the minutes, they can be considered.
All right, Bailey, floor is yours.
Okay, February 27th. In here I have for breaks, first names, I've just changed that to Counselor and then last name instead, so that's one of the amendments for this meeting and going forward. And then again, for the 17.1.
Could you refer to the specific clauses? I believe it's clause 3. That would reflect Councillor Stenhouse.
Yeah, that's one of them. There's multiple though.
So could you reference
Okay.
the,
Number 3, it says now Counselor Stenhouse break, left at and returned at. And then we go to, where's the next one? Just a second. That's the only one I'm seeing. Yeah, I think that's the only break for that meeting, so it's just amended to Counselor Stenhouse, instead of Judy.
So what was that we took a break, the meeting, or just the counselor
Just the counselor.
stepped out? Okay.
Yep. And going forward, it will say counselor stepped out and then returned at specific time. And then for 17.1, or 17, again, it is that council moved into closed session regarding section 24, advice from officials. That's just added in.
so that should be 17.1.
Yep. They are switched. 17.11 and 17.1 are switched. And that is all for February 27th.
Well, but 17.11 has the time that we came out of session, so that needs to stay put. We can't just flip them.
Right, so 17, through the chair, 17.1 should just note the section of FOIP that council went into closed session for. So
Yeah.
that was section
24.
24.
So to recap then, the two changes to this are the naming of Counselor Stenhouse versus Judy, and 17.1 adding the FOIP section 24.
Yep.
Now can we have a motion okay, Counselor Yushishin?
I move that council approve the minutes from the February 27th, 2024 regular meeting of council as amended, as amendments.
Okay, thank you. Question, Counselor Stenhouse?
So let's go to 5.11. It says that council directs administration to draft a letter regarding section 4.1. 4.1 is referenced at 5.11 all through the fives. What is section 4.1?
It is 4.1 of the agenda for February 27th. Because these are the minutes.
Okay, still on 5.1111. It says that council directs administration to draft a letter to Imperial Oil regarding site status, sand future. Now if we go on to 11.1, the request for change to the land use bylaw. I'm just wondering why the gentleman who spoke on behalf of Avid Energy was not included as a spokesperson in the minutes.
I will add his name.
So if we go on to 14.2, it is the High Prairie Traditional Powwow. It says that Councillor Stenhouse made that motion. I don't believe Councillor Stenhouse made that motion.
That's how I had it written, but I can double check the recordings.
Okay. And then if you move on to 17, into our confidential items, council went into session at 9:56. They come out at 9:59, and the meeting was adjourned at 10. One minute? We were in closed sessions for 1 minute?
Yes.
Remember, we were rushing because we had a dead stop at 10, and we kind of hurried her up.
But we went into at 9:56
Yep.
and cut 3 minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
Councillor Wakel.
Given that motion 14.2, Bailey's going to check on who actually made that motion. Do we have to,
Table this.
well, do we have to table these, or can we approve the minutes pending the correction of the mover for that motion, or would it be
I'd
more
rather
proper
table
to
it.
table it?
Mayor, anything from you on February 27th minutes? I'd rather table it, but what?
No, I've heard some of the comments, but not all of them. This joining by distance is brutal.
What I would suggest through the chair is the legislative officer has advised council to review the tape. She's also advised council that that's what's been recorded in the notes. So I think it's fair enough to, there's a commitment to review it, so I don't see any need to table it. If the tape confirms the written notes, then that would be the minutes that would be signed. If it doesn't, we'll correct the minutes.
You can do that after they've been approved?
They haven't been signed, so they're not approved till the mayor and myself execute the minutes. So.
You okay with that, Judy?
I'm confused. If we approve them,
Yeah, they're approved, but they're not, it's not
They're not
official until,
correct, yeah.
it's not official until the name is, until they're signed. So administration is going to review the tape, and if it turns out that, no, it wasn't you that made the motion, it was John or Sasha or myself or whoever made it, then it'll just be changed in there to the correct person, if it was not in fact you, and then that will be that.
Okay, while you're pondering that, let's just recap the amends. We've got the spokesperson for Avid Energy listed in 11.1. We've got the FOIP section added to 17.1. We've got a check to see who made the motion for 14.2. And we have that first very number 3, just the naming convention changed. Did I get it all?
I'm still not clear on section 4.1. That was from the last meeting?
These are the minutes for the last meeting, yes. So 4.1 is referring to section 4.1 in the February 27th, 2024 agenda.
Okay, but I have February 27th agenda in front of me, and it says 4 is Public Works. And I don't recall any report from Public Works.
This is going through the action list. It might be 4.1 on the action list. Your list.
I don't know.
If that's the case, then we should just say that, like.
Yeah.
So could we just hold this, could I suggest through the chair that we hold this item down, and when there's a break, I'll
So we had a motion on the floor. Do you want, what are we doing? Are we still approving this?
No, just suggesting that council just hold it down and move on to another item. When there's a break, we'll come back to this item.
We are going to hold the February 27th approval and move on to the March 4th meeting minutes. Bailey, we'll start with you and changes to this particular set.
So we'll start with 3.7, again, just changing first names to counselor and then last name for breaks. That is amended in the minutes. And then again for 3.9, changing first name to counselor whoever. Section 3.10, once again, and 3.14.1. I think that is all for breaks. And that is all.
Okay, with those naming convention amends, who would like to make the motion to approve the minutes of March 4th? Councillor Dunn?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from March 4th.
And this is the special meeting of March 4th. Okay. Okay. Questions on that motion? Anything from you, Mayor, on the special meeting?
No, good there.
Okay, no discussion then? Councilor Whittle?
It's just a syntax thing. On 3.7, big lakes, lakes should be capitalized. It's petty, but it's the Mike Poulter coming out in me.
Councilor Stenhouse?
So I was hoping that maybe we could get this more in chronological order, because if you look at 3.10, it says that I left at 8:57, yet after I left, I made a motion on 3.12. So if when I left could reflect when the motions were being made.
That would require a change in the procedural bylaw, because there's no indication that that's the way the minutes should be reflected. So could I suggest that council or the member, Councillor Stenhouse, request administration report back on that item?
Do you know what I'm saying? It just make that it after I made the motions, then it says that I leave the meeting, not I left the meeting, and then I continued to make motions.
Right. I think it would be appropriate if we put in a timestamp at the motion, not noting the time of every motion, but a timestamp if any member leaves or comes back in. So we'll undertake to do that if that's satisfactory.
Okay, any further discussion before we call the question? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question to, we have a motion on the floor from Councillor Dunn to approve the special minutes of March 4th. All in favor? As amended, yes, as amended. Okay. All right. Okay, very good. We have carried that motion, and we will now go back to the minutes of February 27th.
So
I'll pass
to,
it.
hopefully to clear up the matter, the item was actually 5.1. And more specifically, if you could reference the February 10th Committee of the Whole minutes as amended.
So there's 3 motions that will be amended with 5.1.
Correct.
And that's referencing the February 10th minutes, 5.1 section?
The February 10th Committee of the Whole minutes as amended. So just as a recall, there were certain motions made or there were certain suggestions made at the February 10th Committee of the Whole meeting, and I believe it was yourself that made a couple of the amendments, so that's to give formal recognition of direction to administration to write the letters.
Okay, you got that, Bailey? Okay. Any further discussion on this with the amends? Okay, then we are ready to call the question. So this is for, do we have a motion on the table? Councilor Wakel, did you make that motion?
I believe I did.
Okay, we are ready to proceed with that motion. Then it's the approval of the regular meeting minutes of February 27th with the amends discussed.
It was Councillor Yashishin that made the.
Okay, stop taking credit, Councillor Wakel.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, okay, all right. Councillor Yashishin's motion on the floor to approve the regular minutes of February 27th with amends and corrections of the last, yeah,
As amended.
as amended. Okay, then, all in favor? Mayor, was that a, okay, very good. It's carried.
Oh, that's okay, I was looking back at my line.
Okay, any business arising from any of those 3 sessions for minutes we just approved? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. 8.1. Who would like to make this motion? Okay, Councillor Tanaka.
I make a motion the council approve that minor ball may upgrade 2 dugouts per year in J.C. Park with their own sponsorship and fundraising dollars.
Okay, Ramona, you've got any additions there?
No, I think this covers it. Shauna did speak already. Sorry I jumped the gun there. I told her I'd be here for moral support, so. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward, what they're requesting.
If I could, through the chair, there's numerous administrative items that need to be resolved, and I'm sure minor baseball will work with us to resolve those. But given that it's time sensitive, and that's why it's been dealt with in this manner, but there are numerous administrative details that have to be dealt with in terms of, them placing items on town lands. Again, some administrative type details, and I'm sure we will work very cooperatively with minor baseball to ensure those are looked after.
Okay, any questions for either Ramona or Shauna, or any discussions on this? Councillor Stenhouse?
I'd like to make to Ramona and Shauna, I think that would be a great upgrade. We would appreciate that. It's long overdue, and it would make it way more attractive. Thank you.
Thanks.
Councillor Wakel?
Maybe this is in here and I just missed it. Have you already secured the CCAN?
We haven't yet.
Okay.
We've gotten a few prices, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Any questions from yourself, Mayor?
Not on this item.
Okay, okay. Seeing no further questions, we have a motion on the floor by Councillor Tanaka. All in favor? Okay, very good. This is carried. Next item is on the CCAN's 8.2. Councillor Tanaka.
I make a motion that council approve that Minor Ball may install a CCAN in J.C. Park that Minor Ball will insure and maintain.
Motion's on the floor. Any discussion or questions? Okay, Mayor, oh, yes, go ahead, Mayor.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we should have some sort of a formal agreement for down the road in 5 years. They're gonna go, well, you know, the CCAM was damaged, the town should change it, or, you know, just to make sure that there's something in place that would indicate what we were doing 5 years from now, or 10 years.
Okay, Shauna is coming to the mic here, and we'll hear what she has to say. And the CAO would like to jump in as well. So, Bill, why don't you start?
Yeah, I'll start. Again, those were the administrative matters that I was referring to on the last item. So similar to the CCAN, there's issues of placement, future liabilities, future ownership of the assets, and numerous other questions that haven't been dealt with to date. But I'm sure Minor Baseball will be very enthusiastic to work with staff to make sure those items are dealt with. We will provide an initial assessment, and if things seem to be going not as the way I think they will go, we'll be reporting back to council with additional information if that's required. But I don't think it will be required. But if so, there would be a further staff report back to council dealing with potential decision points that council may have to be involved with.
Did you hear that report from the CAO? Just that there would be further talks between the minor ball association.
I did not hear.
Okay, he's got this well in hand. He and the league will be discussing some liability issues and come to terms on both our CCAN as well as the previous dugouts. So Shauna, what did you have to add?
If I can just quickly add, the CCAN is, our goal is for it to be temporary. Once the dugouts are complete, if we can have storage at each dugout, then that solves our issue. One thing maybe we can look at down the road, if we have to remove it, we'll remove it. Or I know been into ball diamonds all over the province. So Fort McMurray has a CCAN that they ended up turning into a concession with bathrooms. So you can do all kinds of things with CCANs now. So
Shauna added that this CCAN measure is temporary, and that once the dugouts are prepared and complete, there might be storage at those facilities and we use the CCAN for some creative purpose in the future.
we'd be open to that.
Okay, any other questions or discussion items? Councillor Yushishin and then Councillor Wendell.
I was just going to make a comment. I just love that HP sauce. Right on.
It's very popular. More popular outside of High Prairie, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's great. That's kind of our nickname, has been forever. When does the season start?
We begin the first week of May, as long as we can get on the diamonds, and it runs, league runs to the end of June, and then we move on to baseball provincial playdowns. Our A and AA teams go into the end of July.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, and our wheat bell team as well, which we started last year again, so they run all summer.
All right, that's fantastic. Okay, I think we've got this motion, we've got questions answered. We are ready to call the question to Councillor Tanaka's motion. All in favor? Mayor? Okay. That motion is carried. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so item 8.3 is the handout that we were given. And Ramona is still here, which is great.
Sorry, this was last minute. I've been talking to ball hockey literally for 3 years, and they are coming. So, CNG got bought out by North Peace. They just changed the name, basically. They're really excited about coming here. They want to run a league. We talked more today. They want to run kind of a starter league to give people kind of the bug for it and maybe get the kids playing a little bit. It's also good for hockey skills and whatnot when they play ball hockey. So August 24th till the first weekend in October, they want to do Saturdays for the kids. So we'll see how that goes. The reason that March 27th got chosen for the registration night is because they start their league at the beginning of April, because we were tossing around dates, and so that's why that date works perfectly for them. And one other thing is I also invited Chess to come, which is not on the list, because I talked to them afterwards. Exactly.
Mayor, do you have 8.3 as a handout?
I do, yes.
Okay, good. Ramona gave a bit of an update about the season start time, August 24th to October, Saturdays, but this particular date, March 27th, works for them, for the information night and registration. Any questions on this item from yourself?
No, thank you.
We don't have a motion here. Councillor Stenhouse?
I would like to make the motion that council proceed with advertising about the recreation information night on March 27th, to advertise on our website and our local newspaper and Facebook, whatever it takes to grab the public's attention.
So that motion isn't valid because I don't know how council's going to advertise.
Well, we'll direct administration, may I friendly amendment that we direct administration to advertise that March 27th date?
The other thing was that last time it was an open house for the community to come in and talk to the council members and ask questions and everything, so I would need to know if that's going to happen again as well.
Thoughts around the table?
I'd like to provide some comments on that. Again, this is late coming. Council needs to be clear what their expectations are if staff are to participate. None of the managers have been consulted on this item to date. We're having a managers meeting tomorrow, but again, there has been no prep. If the intent of council is to have a similar event as last year, we're going to need some lead time to get materials together. So just be cognizant of that. It may not, I need clear direction from council what their expectations are for the 27th in regards to staff presentations and the like. So.
Okay, thoughts? Mayor, any thoughts?
Nope.
You made the motion, Councillor Stenhouse. Do you have any, what was your envisioning of that night? We'll advertise it.
I think I would just stick to the advertising of the multi-sport registration and information night at this point. But there's no reason why, you know, if somebody wants to attend or stand there or whatever, but...
By somebody, do you mean staff, council?
Council.
Only council.
It's more to get this out there and get as many people involved as we can and let them know about the sports and the recreation that we offer in the town.
Just a point of clarification, you're not suggesting that staff could not attend as members of the public?
No, but I'm only referring to council. If they want to attend, I don't see why not. Like, I'm not setting the guide rules. What I'm saying is to have this night and invite everybody and whoever wants to show up. It's for promotion of the recreation.
Ramona, any further direction that you need, or is this clear? Like, we'll have it, we won't make it, you know, we won't make it such that we did last time with stations and questions. We'll keep it exclusive to the multi-sport event. Staff, anyone can attend, the public, council.
Yep, I just needed to know how to advertise it, that's all.
I can mention it on my radio spot that I have Thursdays.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll mention it on there for sure.
And you've noted all the other venues, right? Newsletter, the board, the website. Facebook.
Yeah, we'll put it on everything.
Okay, we've got that motion. Any questions before we move to question? You've got the clarification you need?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then we'll call the question. Did you hear the motion, Mayor? Okay. Okay, very good. All in favor? Okay, that's all in favor and it's carried.
Thank you.
All right, so who wants to move the CAO's report? Okay, Councillor Wakel.
I'll move that we accept the CAO's report and action list for information.
Okay, Bill, over to you.
Nothing further to add. I think the report's straightforward. Be pleased to answer any questions.
So sorry, Chair. I see that our audit is underway. Are we still using the same auditors?
That's correct.
Okay.
Any questions for our CEO, Mayor?
Nope, thank you.
Councillor Stenhouse.
So I see in your report that you've added, I had questioned about business licenses, and you state in here, outstanding vendor has not operated in the town to date and usually pulls a permit in the spring. Is that a prorate? Do they get a prorated price or do they pay full price?
That would be full price.
Okay. I'm just wondering, have you heard back from the motion that Councillor Wakel made a couple of meetings back on the gas prices in High Prairie?
The letters went out, I believe it was 3 or 4 gasoline conglomerates, if you want to use that word. There's been no responses to the letter.
Okay, advertising for our land use bylaw March 18th. I see it's only on our website. Is that the only place that it is advertised?
I don't know if it was posted on the web or not, but it was advertised on the website. So I don't recall if it was placed in the paper or not. Another staff member was handling that file, so.
Okay. I also noticed that the FCSS manager's report that was sent out last week was not included in the package. Was that an oversight?
No, you may wish to raise that at your next FCS meeting. They've advised that they do not want those items on our public agenda, and I haven't got a valid answer why that was the case.
Okay. Also at our September 27th meeting, I had raised a question about making a motion coming at a camera from a in-camera session. And you stated that we would receive a 2-page FOIP allowable information.
That's partly in camera tonight, so that will be dealt with later in this in-camera portion, or the closed portion of the meeting.
Okay. And do we have a health and safety committee here at the
Yes,
town?
we do.
Okay. And that committee meets and has policies?
Yes, it does, and it has minutes also of all the meeting. So we are meeting the requirements under the Occupational Health and Safety Act.
Okay.
Councillor Janaka.
I'm just curious where we are in giving a response to McSteel about their sign request.
Yep, that item is on the action list, and given the number of issues that I've been dealing with, I hope to get that done in short order, but
Okay,
as
perfect.
council adds additional information, it's becoming more of a challenge.
Councillor Wakeler?
Given the absolute stonewalling that we seem to constantly get from these gas companies on any number of items, considering the FCM is in Calgary this year, now, is there any of those companies that have offices still in Calgary? Maybe we can request a meeting to sit down with them and say, what the hell?
We can do a follow-up letter if there's a motion from council to attempt to schedule those meetings.
Any other questions, discussion items for the CAO?
One more.
Councillor Stenhouse?
So you state here, final 2024 operating and capital budget being prepared. Have we not finished the capital budget?
Not by any means. So council has provided direction to include certain items in the capital budget, but before council can legally approve the capital budget, there has to be a formal report to council identifying not only the projects, the funding sources, and any other matters. That has not been completed to date by council.
Okay, seeing no other questions or discussion items, we have a motion to receive the CAO's report for information. All in favor? Great, carried. We are moving on to items of correspondence, 14.1. This was the letter that came to us via email and was sent to the library, I believe, correct, Bill? Okay, so who's going to make this motion to receive? Okay, Councillor Yushishin?
Make the motion that council receive this report for information.
Question, Councillor Stenhouse?
Yes. Would you like to change the meeting date to March 12th?
From February 27th. Bailey, did you get that? Just the title page, the title, it says February 27th. Okay. Councillor Danaka?
Has this letter been forwarded to our library? Yes, thank you.
I haven't personally forwarded it, but again, I imagine since it's addressed to the library board chair, the municipal affairs would have dealt with that issue. But
Can you confirm that, James?
I'll confirm. I'm 98% sure, but I'll make sure.
But just as an assurance, administration, the legislative coordinator will email the letter to the library board tomorrow.
Anything further on this item? Okay, seeing nothing, we have a motion to receive for information. All in favor? Okay, very good, that's carried. Okay, let's 5-minute break, everyone. What time is it? It is 8-minute break.